מה טוב ומה נעים הוא, שבת אחים גם יחד הוא. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים הוא, שבת אחים גם יחד הוא. לבה בואה קוליו קולונג'י בואה קוסן יוסה, הבולו גנדה או קוטולה. לבה בואה קוליו קולונג'י בואה קוסן יוסה, הבולו גנדה או קוטולה. How good and how pleasant it is to come together in peace and community. Congregation Sherit Israel. Hine hine, hine hine, hine. Hine hine, hine hine, hine. Hine mato. מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים ואחיות שרק רוצים לחיות, להיות, להוות התקוות בעיניים פתוחות, בידיים אוהבות ומקבלות, ובידיעה שכולנו משפחה, באמונה שתוכן יש מקום גדול לאהבה. כשהמים זומים הם אותנו מובילים, מרומים מצבעים, כי אמא שלי הוא משחזוי דרך חדשה, כשהשמש עולה על כולנו מהירה. אז עוד שנייה, הנה זה בא, כמו השמה, נשמה, נשימה. הנה הנה, הנה הנה, הנה הנה, הנה הנה, הנה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to come together in peace and community. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to come together in peace and community. Remember that? How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to come together in peace and community. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to come together in peace and community. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to come together in peace and community. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to come together in peace and community. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to come together in peace and community.
Shalom. Oh, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much, Lior. So if you don't know Lior, that was Lior Ben-Hur, who for many years graced our students with beautiful music, like the music you just heard, and he has come back as a visiting guest artist to greet all of our confirmands this evening, whom you cannot see at the moment, but I can, because most of them are actually here in the sanctuary with me, which is terribly exciting. Feel free to cheer a little so that we know you're here. Very good, very good. Which is why we're all masked, in case you're wondering. But we're also excited to be here with you at Congregation Sherith Israel for this Shabbat, when we celebrate many things: confirmation, the coming of the holiday of Shavuot, which coincides with confirmation, and of course, also the bar mitzvah tomorrow of Kai Denmark, who we'll also see this evening. Rabbi Graf, do you want to say any additional words of welcome? Oh, and I'm Rabbi Abby Phelps.
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, excellent. The internet keeps freezing and I'm in the building, so there's something about me, I think, not the location, that keeps causing this problem. Anyway, Shabbat Shalom to all of you. I just had the privilege to go upstairs and to see some of our flat out. So Rabbi Phelps, you may have said this. What a pleasure to see our sanctuary starting to be filled with people and certainly filled with so much love. I'm Rabbi Jessica Graf, downstairs in the building. Rabbi Abby Phelps is in our sanctuary along with our confirmands. And you introduced Lior Ben-Hur, who many people know over the years, who has brought us so much prayerful music and joyful Shabbat music. And we're so grateful to have you back tonight, Lior. Thank you for joining us. So Mazal Tov to all of our confirmands and their families. And to
oh dear. We have a small case of frozen rabbi.
Jessica, we can't hear you at the moment.
Well, I'll go ahead and take us into the next moment of our service, I think, on the theory that perhaps some internet issues are being sorted out, but thank you so much for the greeting. And speaking of greetings, we're welcoming Eric Migdale, the Secretary of our Board of Trustees, to offer his greeting to us all this evening. So Eric, welcome.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi Phelps. I think you'll be fortunate if the internet is the only thing that's freezing in the building tonight, knowing the building as we do. I'm Eric Migdale, a member of the Board of Trustees, and in my day job, I'm a teacher, so I'm particularly excited to be representing the board tonight to offer my congratulations to our confirmands in achieving this next milestone in your Jewish education. You are a blessing to our community, and I'm so excited for you. Thanks to all of you, not just our confirmands, for joining us tonight in joyful celebration of them and for all of us as a community. Thank you so much, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. And hopefully I won't freeze. I've switched Wi-Fi's. We'll see how it goes. Kai Denmark, our amazing bar mitzvah for this Shabbat. We welcome you and your parents, and I would like to invite you to lead us in the lighting of Shabbat candles. Let's see, can we spotlight Kai here so we can see the Denmark family? There we go. So Kai, tell us a little bit about your awesome candlesticks there and your even more awesome mom and dad.
Well, where did the candlesticks come from? There.
From
From my grandmother's great, yeah.
Where do they come from?
My great grandparents, my grandmother's parents,
What country?
from Iceland. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they came from my grandparents in Iceland. So my mom brought them back from there.
Yeah.
They're amazing. What material? I can't tell what they're made out of.
They're crystal, and we're not sure what the metal is. It looks silver, but probably not actually silver, but they're pretty beautiful.
They're really beautiful, and it's really nice to be able to incorporate not only something that has so much history, but Kai, you'll teach us a little tiny bit tomorrow about the really interesting history of your family and how beautiful it is that all of that comes together in you, leading us tonight in the lighting of the Shabbat candles. So will you do the honors there?
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
No, you do it.
Exciting mic rotation happening. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Unity and lead us.
Thank you, Kai. Thank you for sharing the prayer with us, and also, I think the only Icelandic Shabbat candlesticks I'm ever aware of having seen before. So they are beautiful, and we are excited we'll get to hear some more from Kai throughout this evening. We also, of course, as we have mentioned a couple of times now, are celebrating our confirmation class. This is an incredible class that has persevered through a challenging year and change. We have been learning together as a group about Shabbat services, about the history of the Reform movement, about how we all personally connect with Judaism over the course of this last year and several months. And it's wonderful to be arriving at this culmination where all of our confirmands who are in 10th and 11th grade are in a position to really articulate to us what it is that's meaningful to them about Judaism. So without further ado, I will invite them to begin coming up and sharing their words with us. So the first confirmand I'd like to welcome up is Milo Stern. So Milo, please come on up and share your words with us.
Hello. Wow, a lot of you. So first off, I'd like to say how great it is to be back in these four walls. It has been far too long, and it is wonderful to see just a few of you in person again. Louder? Okay. Yeah, I got you. Better? Wow, that is very loud. Okay. This past year or so has been so hard on us all. Cliche, I know, but it's true. I sometimes think back to Monday, March 16th, 2020, the day that SFUSD announced that schools would be closed for 3 weeks because of a new virus, COVID-19. I was out at a park hanging out with a good friend of mine, Katie, and at a time we were beyond psyched to be out of school for this time, as we had been anticipating the announcement for a few days prior. No more homework for 3 weeks, I remember us saying. Man, we did not know what was about to hit us. Global shutdown, millions dead, life as we know it brought to a halt. These are not things that Katie nor I could have even imagined on that day out in the park. So much loss, so much devastation. Unfortunately for me, my connection to Judaism was among the things that got lost. This has been a quiet devastation of mine for a while now. I used to do so much here at Sherith Israel. Come to Teens at Studio, volunteer in the kitchen, city, board work, etc. I did these things because I both enjoyed them and because of the people here too. I'd walk in, say hi to Rabbi Abby and Natalie in the office, if I was lucky, Cantor David too. See friends that have been in my religious classes alongside me all my life, and maybe a few members of the synagogue too. Seeing these people made my day. Belonging to that community defined my connection to Judaism. This is what the pandemic has taught me. That is what makes Judaism special to me, is community. Talking to all types of Jews, small, big, young, old, white, black, you name it. During the pandemic, I stopped talking to my fellow Jews on the daily. As a result, I started to forget about some of my favorite Jewish values. I started to forget about how chill and accepting Judaism can be. I started to forget that we are taught to question what we don't understand. I started to forget about how about how free Judaism allows us to be, giving us room to be and express our true selves. Worst of all, I started to forget our vibrant sense of humor. This is what makes this confirmation special to me. It marks the beginning of the end of a horrid pandemic and the rejuvenation of my connection to Judaism. It feels good to be back. Before I conclude, I'd like to take a moment to shoot a special thanks over to Rabbi Abby. A few weeks ago, she reached out to me to check in about confirmation. I accepted, not knowing what to expect. And to be quite honest with you all, slightly anxious about what would happen. I had to miss quite a few confirmation classes due to being busy with work and school and all these other things that I do every day, and was concerned that I might not make it to where I am standing in front of you at this moment. The day came, I logged into Zoom and was pleasantly surprised. Rabbi Abby asked me about how I was doing and what I wanted this speech to be about. I gave her the default "I'm doing fine" answer that we all know and love at this point, but from there, the conversation took off. She proceeded to help me find what confirmation means to me, and here it is. It's not about classes, it's not about singing, it's not about what I'm wearing, it's about reconnection. Because of this meeting, I am standing here in front of you all today, my community. Thanks, Rabbi Abby. It means a lot. And that is all for me.
Thank you, Milo. Thank you, Milo, for getting us started with those inspiring words about community and connection. We're going to turn now to one of our confirmands who is out of state at the moment because she's celebrating a really important simcha. Is it your grandfather's 80th birthday, I believe, ALANA?
It is. Yeah, I'm at my grandparents' house right now. But, I still wanted to participate in confirmation. I'm sad I can't be with all of my fellow confirmands, but here is my speech. Hi, I'm ALANA David, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about why I love being Jewish. First of all, I appreciate the open-mindedness of the Jewish community. Sheretz Israel has always been a safe place for me and for people from a wide variety of backgrounds. We accept people no matter their sexuality, race, or gender. All are welcome to join. Secondly, I love that Judaism teaches us to question things. Everything is open to interpretation. For example, the Torah talks about God, but never really does it say that you must believe in him. Having an open dialogue about beliefs and tradition is one of my favorite things. At the same time, I find comfort in knowing that when I debate these things with other Reformed Jews, there are certain core values that we share, such as commitment to social justice and tikkun olam, or repairing the world. Lastly, I believe that being Jewish helps one to become a contributing member of society. I've been going to studio at Sheretz Israel for many years, and it has taught me many important life skills. I have learned how to interact meaningfully with people of all ages, how to connect with people through acts of service, and even how to understand a third language. These lessons really set one up to be a generally good and competent person. As I've gotten older, I have started to help lead studio as a madricha. This has been my first real work experience, and I have loved working in a community where I feel safe and seen and can really contribute to something bigger than me. I could not have wished for a better first job. I'm so thankful to be a part of this strong, loving community and look forward to leading a Jewish life as I continue to grow up.
Thank you, ALANA, and we look forward to being part of that journey with you. We now continue with our Shabbat service. We're going to listen to some beautiful singing by Lior, welcoming the Shabbat bride with Lecha Dodi.
Listening, and please join me. Hopefully it will be some sounds that are memorable. Hey na 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 Bui kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Bui kala, bui kala, bui kala. Bui kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Bui kala, bui kala, bui kala. Lecha dodi, likat kala. Penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi, likat kala. Penei Shabbat nekavela. Na 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 together. Bui kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Bui kala, bui kala, bui kala. Bui kala, penei Shabbat nekavela. Bui kala, bui kala, bui kala. Lecha dodi, likat kala. Penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi, likat kala. Penei Shabbat nekavela. Penei Shabbat nekavela. Penei Shabbat
now that we have welcomed the Shabbat bride to join us, we can continue to hear some of the inspiring words of our confirmands. It's my pleasure to invite up our next two speakers, Sadie Steinheimer and Jacob Spiegel. I think in that order, in the reverse order. So Jacob, please come on up, and after Jacob Spiegel speaks, we'll have Sadie Steinheimer.
All right. Can I pull this thing up a bit? All right, thank you. Yep, sounds good. Thank you. Okay, been a while since I've spoken like this. All right, here we go. Over the half year that I've spent talking with Rabbi Abby and my fellow confirmands, we've discussed the history and evolution of Jewish values, of the Jewish people and the Jewish religion. We've discussed the origins of Judaism thousands of years ago, the history of anti-Semitism, the evolution of Jewish values, and so much more. And one aspect of that discussion that I have come to greatly value over this past half year is the questioning that is so heavily a part of it. Rabbi Abby has encouraged us to ask questions whenever we had them. It is this ability to question that I love so dearly in all my Jewish culture. Debate, dialogue, and questioning are found throughout our texts, and I feel the evolution and sustainability of our beautiful Jewish culture is a result of us continually asking questions about it. We learn and perpetuate Judaism because we're allowed to be curious about it. In a world where people have, at so many points in history, been silenced or tossed out for being curious and questioning, I believe we must appreciate how much questioning adds to our day-to-day lives. I'm deeply invested, personally, in the sciences, particularly biology and chemistry. And that is, in my opinion, mainly because science is what allows us to question the world around us, and through that questioning, understand it. It allows us to examine things and, rather than take them as they are, ask about what's going on beneath the surface, about what we can about what we can see or hear, and in doing so gain greater appreciation and understanding of that world. It's so important for me to pass on my love of questioning to others, and that is why tutoring is such a big part of who I am. I believe that this ability to question should be fostered, appreciated, and above all, incentivized. Judaism incentivizes this questioning, even of things so fundamental to its existence like the meaning of Torah and the nature of its God. This community around me, Rabbi, my friends, and those of you here who I don't really know too well, but I'm still connected to through the congregation, all of you allow for a multitude of viewpoints and questioning, and with that, the security that our culture will be maintained. It is this culture, I don't know why I said sorry. It is this culture, including my friends and their diverse viewpoints, that keep me coming back to this community, and I look forward to continuing my time at Sheriff Israel with them. Thank you. Oh, yeah, is this mine? No, that's not mine.
Can this be lower? Move it out? Yeah. When I was first told I would have to write a speech about what made me Jewish, I had no idea what I was going to talk about. I never had a bat mitzvah or had any signifier that I was Jewish. I would just tell people I'm Jewish and they'd believe me. Although when you think of a typical Jewish person, an Asian girl such as myself doesn't really pop up into your head. What I came to realize over these past couple of weeks while thinking about giving this speech is that being Jewish isn't defined by having a bat mitzvah and an after party or celebrating Shabbat every weekend, but what you define it as. Yes, there will always be a specific definition when you look up Judaism on the internet, but why not write a definition for yourself? My definition of Judaism is being informed and living up to the values of kavod habriot, which means caring for God's creations, and tikkun olam, which means repairing the world, and to do this, I come to Sheriff Israel to extend my education. A memory I have of being a student at Sheriff Israel was having Anna Dillman and Natalie Wiseman as my teachers. This past year, I helped Anna teach 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders about Jewish heroes. It's weird to think that Anna used to teach me when I was these kids' age, and now I'm helping her teach other kids. Both Natalie and Anna have watched me grow up and seen me become the person I am today. Their image of me changed throughout the years from a student to a madriha, but my image of them has never changed. Natalie will always be the funny teacher who finds the best ways to engage a class. Anna will always be the kind and dedicated art teacher whose class I looked forward to the most. Judaism for me doesn't come from a big ceremony at 13 or chanting in Hebrew, but from the amazing Sunday school teachers I've had from such a young age. It comes from my parents who constantly pushed me to keep coming to Shereth Israel and continuing my Jewish education. It comes from my extended family who are not Jewish themselves but enjoy celebrating holidays with us. It comes from my classmates who I know I'll see every Sunday. It comes from my students who are always so inspiring when it comes to their enthusiasm and knowledge in class. The faces of those who opened doors for me and supported my learning from the beginning will always be my reason for why I am and am proud to say that I am Jewish.
Thank you so much, Jacob and Sadie. We're going to continue our service now with Baruch Hu. I invite everyone to rise as able and join us in chanting Baruch Hu, calling one another to prayer.
Ya na 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 na, 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 ya na 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 na. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevoach. Together. Baruch Adonai Hamevoach Le'olam ha'ed, Le'olam ha'ed. Ya-na-na-na-na, 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 ya-na-na-na-na.
I want to invite everyone as we prepare to recite Shema together to just take a moment to take a deep breath. As I like to say to the kids at studio, take a deep breath in, hold it for a second, and then let it out. And just let the peace of Shabbat begin to really sink in to your heart and your soul. Please join me in reciting the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kavod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Now it's my pleasure to bring the focus back over to Kai Denmark, who will lead us in the Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אלוהים מצווה היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובליתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקראתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם אלוהים. אני אלוהיהם.
And that. Yasher Koach, well done. Thank you for your beautiful chanting, Kai. We now will get to hear from just a few more of our confirmands. Is Kevin Kirchner with us? Okay. I think Kevin was unfortunately not able to make it this evening, which is a shame because he had some lovely remarks. But I will invite up next to speak Otto Handler. And after Otto, Ryan Maycomer will speak. So please come on up, Otto.
Hello. Is my yarmulke on straight? Okay. I must say thank you to those for being here and to those watching at home. I know, I'm tired of Zim as well. Feels like a million years ago that I was anywhere but San Francisco in my house, sitting on my computer for 6 hours a day. The last trip I took before COVID was to Chicago to see an opera written by a distant cousin I had never met. The opera was about the freedom riders of the civil rights movement. This had been a topic I'd been interested in for a very long time. I thought the movement was interesting and an important part of our history, but I didn't quite see how it connected with Judaism. In the opera, there was a song where one of the freedom riders, one of the white freedom riders, originally from New York, was asked by other writers why he was down in the South, and he sang about tikkun olam and how we need to leave this world better than we found it. When I heard this song, I was reintroduced to tikkun olam as a Jewish value. I knew what it meant before, but didn't quite connect the dots. I was reminded that Judaism teaches us to be mindful about how we care for the earth and each other. Speaking of caring for each other, I wanted to thank Rabbi Abby for an amazing confirmation class and for buying us all those pre-COVID tacos. Also, thank you to my parents for helping me edit this little talk, even and especially when I was being irritable about it. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ryan. And Judaism to me is a way to build family and community. I've been coming to Congregation Shereth Israel since I was a baby, and I've always considered it a kind of second home. It was a place where no matter how long I was gone for, the moment I got back, it was like we could pick up right where we left off. The fact that we're a Reformed congregation also plays a part in making it easy to build community, as it is extremely welcoming. The Reform movement is committed to embracing people of varied backgrounds and identities, and I believe this is especially true at Shereth Israel. Here, we're constantly reaching out to bring people into our community, and that's why I love groups like Hamotzi and Chicken Soupers. I love that groups like Hamotzi and Chicken Soupers are at the heart of our congregation. That caring for others is central to what we do. Being able to work and help out also helps create opportunities to interact with new people. And this is why I love helping out at events. Even if it's just handing out grape juice cups, I know that I'll have a chance to be friendly with other members of our congregation and turn acquaintances into friends. Judaism teaches us to be open to welcoming strangers into our lives, because we have been strangers ourselves throughout history, and we know how difficult it can be. By inviting new people into our community activities and serving people in need, we add those people to our family, and we build a richer, stronger Judaism together. Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan, for sharing your insights with us, and thank you, Otto, for sharing with us as well. We continue our service now with our prayer for freedom, Micha Mocha.
כמוך נדע בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, יאי לה 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 לה, יאי לה 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 לה, יאי לה 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 לה, יאי לה 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 לה, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, יאי נה 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 נה, יאי נה 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 נה, יאי נה 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 נה, יאי נה 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 נה, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, יאי נה 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 נה, יאי נה 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 נה, יאי נה 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 נה, יאי נה 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 נה.
We invite you now to rise once more as able, as we enter into the central point of our service, the Amidah, the standing prayer. Please join us in Adonai Sefatai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'Konei Hakol Ve'Zocher Chastei Avot Ve'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'Ezrat Sarah אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We invite you now to take a moment for silent prayer. Pray whatever words are in your heart this evening that you need to express. Feel free to be seated when you've finished your prayers. And after a few moments of silence, we'll come back together for Oseh Shalom.
Bring peace down.
It's my pleasure now to invite our final two confirmation speakers to come up and share their words with us. We'll hear first from Nora Herndon-Lazarus and then from Sylvia Benjamin.
So, fun fact about me, I can't really point to a place where I grew up. My family moves a lot. Approximately every 2 years of my life, we've moved to a new house, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a privilege to be able to move houses in cities when we need to, and it doesn't really make me sad. But I can't point to a physical place that I grew up except here. I've been coming to Shereth Israel since I was 2. I watched my first R-rated movie with Natalie on the mezzanine, and I tried lip gloss for the first time, Sylvia's lip gloss, in the lounge outside the women's bathroom downstairs. At my bat mitzvah, I gave a drosh about how not all parts of the Torah are relevant to modern day life. And we as modern Jews get to pick and choose what's important to us, and I'm really, really glad that Rabbi Julie helped me write that, because it's exactly what I needed to research and explore to feel connected to Judaism when I was 13. However, today I'm going to tell you about how I don't really believe that anymore, because I've grown a lot since then, and because I've grown up here. I got to join this community because of the Torah. The whole Torah, not just the parts I like. Each and every line of the Torah has brought Jews together throughout the ages, and so each and every line of the Torah carries weight and importance. It's the Torah as a whole, not in its individual pieces, that eventually culminated in being here, in me being here, with people I consider some of my best friends. And therefore, I don't get to cherry pick lines to care about and lines to pretend don't exist. I don't agree with everything in the Torah. I never will, and that's okay. But I am profoundly grateful that it exists in its entirety, and so I will engage with all of it. That's what Judaism means to me right now, and that's subject to change. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. It's because of the heels. When I think of Judaism, the first thing I think of is always Shereth Israel. For me, this synagogue is more than a place I come to pray. It's a personal space filled with friends and family. This is going to sound sappy, but this space is overwhelmingly beautiful. And not just this physical space, but the memories I've made here. One memory that I cherish of being at Shereth Israel is spending time in the chapel on Tuesday afternoons when I was in about 2nd grade. That year, the elementary school kids would learn and have services together, and our services would always conclude with reading from a list of Jewish quotations and sayings in the back of our prayer books. Nancy Sheftel Gomes would ask for volunteers, and we would all start squirming in our seats with our hands raised, hoping to be called on so we could read our favorite lines. There was one quotation that especially stood out to me, and that I always wanted to be the one to read aloud. It's a quotation from Rabbi Hillel. "If I'm not for myself, who will be for me? If I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when?" It's pretty famous, and I'm guessing most of you have heard it. I think about it often, though, because I'm never quite sure what it means. Is Hillel saying that we need to be for ourselves, but also for other people? How do we know when we should be for ourselves instead of other people? And how do we know when we should be for other people instead of ourselves? Or is he genuinely wondering if God or other people will look out for us if we don't look out for ourselves? And what is it that Hillel thinks we should be doing now? I won't be answering any of these questions, because one of the things I've learned is that asking questions and openly discussing them is more important than answering them when studying Torah. Lots of things in the Torah don't make sense, at least not at first. And they don't have to. Asking questions and discussing them allows me to find meaning, apply what I've learned to my life, and use it to influence others in a positive way. The words I'm sharing with you right now are actually not the first ones I wrote. I had written a totally different speech, but I decided I like this one better because it's from the heart. That's where Judaism lives for me, inside my heart, inspiring me to do good in the world. So, from the heart, I invite you to ask yourself, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? If I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. It's incredibly moving to hear all of you speak after spending so long studying with you all and not only teaching you, but learning from you. There is great wisdom in this group. It's very clear from the words that you've all shared that you've thought deeply about Judaism and why it's meaningful to you. It's also very clear that all of you have a very profound connection to this particular space, to being in this sanctuary, being in this building, to all the memories that you've made here. And I want to take a moment just to honor that before we move on toward the conclusion of our service. So I'd like to invite all of our confirmands to come up behind me, come up on the bima. Space yourselves out a little bit, socially distanced, but come on up, please. And I'm going to offer you some words of blessing. Yeah, go ahead and just go up the stairs. It was at the request of the confirmands that we made sure that we could be together in the sanctuary in a safe way this evening, because this confirmation class is so connected with this space. And in honor of that, I'd like to actually offer you a blessing that's here in this space. It's right there on the wall. One of the many beautiful passages from Tanakh that we have throughout this phenomenal sanctuary. And that passage is the priestly blessing. So I offer to you, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God turn God's face to you and smile upon you. May God be gracious to you, and may God give you peace. I am so excited to watch you all continue to grow into the incredible young Jewish adults that you are, into the incredible friends that you are. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us, and we look forward to continuing this journey with you. Thanks, everybody. And you can have a seat if you'd like.
I want to say to all of you, Yishar Kochechem, which roughly translates as way to go and awesome job. You guys are amazing. If you've seen any of the comments in the chat, you know how proud our entire congregation is of this incredible group of young adults who have come into their own in this space. And as Nancy just wrote, it's so cool that these kids are the first in-person event. You are our leaders. As I look at so many of you and listen to all of you, tonight, I am, along with all of the other people who are participating in this service, so moved. Nora, I remember when you gave your Devar Torah at your bat mitzvah, and so many of the others. Many of you started out when I came here shorter than I am, which is not saying very much in terms of height. Now, though I'm not standing next to you, I can see that I'm probably the shortest person in this building right now. And I am so glad and delighted and thrilled, not only for Congregation Sheriff Israel, for the rabbis who came before me and Rabbi Phelps in this space, who have been so much a part of your journey here, and the educators and the teachers and the parents and the adults who hoped and wished and prayed that you would grow up to be incredible leaders of the Jewish community. You have arrived at this place. And we're so proud to hear your words and to know that Congregation Shereth Israel is a deep, deep part of your souls and of your identities in Judaism. Wherever you will go into the world, you will take not only our beautiful sanctuary, but the teachings and the community and the love of Judaism and of people and of each other that started and was nourished and nurtured right here. So Mazal Tov to all of you, to your parents, to Rabbi Phelps, and Natalie, who worked so hard to bring you to this place, and how incredible your resilience is that even in this crazy time in our world, you are here, you are leading us, you are hope for all of us for the future. So Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. We continue in our service with words of Mishaberach as we ask God for blessings of healing, of wholeness, of shleimut, of healing of body and of spirit, and of consciousness of the support that we bring to those whom we love and who need our love. Tonight we honor especially and pray for the healing of Shoshana Chana Asher, Ilana Bat Avraham V'Sarah, Michael Enery, Michael Gaines, William Kurian, Leonid Landra Renko, Carolyn Reznikoff, Chris Romano, Agnes Rothblatt, Carolyn Olson Stellman, and Sam Weiner. If there are other people for whom you pray tonight, please mention their names in the chat so that they will be part of our blessing for healing as we join together in these words of Mishaberach.
Berach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Aleinu, it is upon us, it is upon each of you who lead us now as adults in the Jewish community to make our world better, and we join together in Aleinu as we recognize our own responsibility. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, we remember for Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, Sigmund Sig Freeman and Carol Hemingway, If there are other people whom you remember during this time of Shiva, the first 7 days or the first 30 days, Shloshim, of mourning, please mention their names out loud or in the chat. The perpetual memorials in our congregation are Dr. Elliot Eisenberg and Judith M. Escalante Melvin. The yahrzeit anniversaries on this Shabbat are Henrietta Michal Abir, Bruno Abramovitz, Natalie P. Allen, Lisa Cheryl Barth, Solomon Burke, Sam Birnbaum, Joseph Boxer, Brandon Aaron Breyer, Rosalind Brock, Esther Corin, Samuel Fell, Lenore Anderson Feynman, Joseph G. Grossman, Elsie Handler, Delmar Kolb, Frederick Linder, Carolyn Mervis, Max W. Phillips, Hannah Reisfeld, Diane Ross, Doris Sperber, Oleta Thomas, Benjamin P. Weiner, Jake Wine, and those whom you mention out loud or in the chat. We thank God for all of these lives that continue to inspire ours with the words of Kaddish Yatom.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'yizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. And together we say, Amen.
Just a few announcements before we conclude our service. First of all, for those of you who would like to join us for a traditional Yizkor service, or at a traditional time of year, I should say, a service of remembrance for those who have died, please stay on immediately following this service for a short service of memory. Tomorrow morning, Torah study will be at 9:15. Please join the community. And following that, Kai Denmark's bar mitzvah. Kai, in a hot minute, you're going to be a confirmand and talking about the words that you shared with us, that you will have shared with us tomorrow morning as you've grown even more in these coming years and you become a full adult in our community. We look forward to celebrating your huge milestone tomorrow with you and your family and continuing to watch you grow. And by the way, has anybody seen the cover of the J Weekly? Yeah, Christina Jefferson, woohoo, amazing. Our fabulous, fascinating, and really incredible congregant who is the chair of our membership committee, member of our board of trustees, takes care of our library, is involved along with her wife in Hamotzi, and an all around really cool, amazing human being is on, there she is, live and in person, is on the cover of J Weekly. And we really, I haven't yet read the article. I can't wait to read the article, but we're really proud of your great contribution to the San Francisco Jewish community, the world of baseball, the world in general, and Congregation Shereth Israel. So thanks for being so awesome. Oh, you're muted. Can we unmute you? Let's see.
There I am. Thank you so much. And I think Nora's words rang very true to me that I've moved a lot in my life, but Congregation Shereth Israel is home. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Mazel tov to you also. Gordon, do we have other announcements? Gordon.
Wander into the camera range. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We're gonna have a little do-si-do here. Yes?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm just watching Peter run back and forth right now. So does this mask make me look fat? So I do want to remind everybody that the annual meeting is coming up on the 25th. We would love to see you there. We'll not be feeding you pizza this year, but hopefully it will be one of the last things we do on Zoom, God willing. So we're all excited about the new CDC announcement. We don't know how that's going to play out yet. In the city and county, they're coterminous, of San Francisco. Thank you, Howard Wexler, for teaching me that term. But we're waiting with bated breath. And that's all I got. So you got anything, Rabbi? No? Okay. All right, back to your usual scheduled programming.
Can you do inside a box or, thank you. So before we conclude our service, we get to hear from Kai Denmark one more time. So if we can go ahead and spotlight him once more, he is going to lead us in Kiddush. Hello again.
You have an Icelandic Kiddush cup, I hope?
No, that was from my bar mitzvah, actually.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Very cool. So a New York City Kiddush cup?
Yes, from the rabbi that bar mitzvahed me. It's old.
It's meaningful.
Yes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitchanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit kiyom tehillah lemikra kodesh zeher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'harta v'tanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodsha v'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. L'chaim. And those of you who have a challah or something very delicious nearby, please lift it up as we join with Rabbi Phelps in Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
B'te'avon. We'll conclude with Gesher Tzar Me'od. I want to just say thank you so much to Lior for being with us. What a treat to hear your music and see your joy and energy back with us. And to our amazing, amazing confirmands. We can't wait to open up our building and give you guys really big hugs and see where you go. So, Mazal Tov.
Thank you for having me. This has been very special for me as well. As a young Israeli, secular Israeli, I got my confirmation kind of in Sherit Israel as well, so it's great to see it. All of you are so big, smart, and wise. If you remember this, please sing with me. Haolam, 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 hu gesher tzar, tzar meod, gesher tzar, tzar, tzar meod. Haolam, 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 hu gesher tzar, tzar meod, gesher tzar, tzar, tzar meod. והעיקר לא לפחד כלל. See the life that I'm leading. All these learnings growing and feeding. Just to get by as we get by. Just to get by as we get by. Feeding all that beautiful feeling. Our journeys merging and meeting. Just to get by as we get by. Just to get by as we get by. Hear my voice as I'm singing. Every word and word are reflecting what's on my mind to you. What's on my mind to you. We're just crossing by. Would you hold my hand as we're walking on this narrow bridge? We won't be afraid together as the world spins. Would you hold my hand as we're walking on this narrow bridge? We won't be afraid together as the world spins. We're just crossing by. Haolam, 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 haolam. גשר צר צר מאוד, גשר צר קצר צר מאוד. העולם העולם העולם, העולם 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 הוא גשר צר צר מאוד, גשר צר קצר צר מאוד. והעיקר לא לפחד כלל. Would you hold my hand as we're walking on this narrow bridge? We won't be afraid together as the world spins. Would you hold my hand as we're walking on this narrow bridge? We won't be afraid together as the world spins. We're just crossing by. Shabbat Shalom. Congratulations.
Those of you staying for the Yizkor service, please hang out for a few minutes. And as we let people just say Shabbat Shalom to each other and head out to wherever they're going, we will begin our service.
Yes. Well, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Lior. Thank you, Confirmands. Thank you, parents who came and braved the chill of the sanctuary this evening. We're going to take just a couple of moments to sort of reset ourselves before Yizkor.
So I know many of you have been a part of a Yizkor service here or somewhere else over a short period of time or a long period of time, maybe, depending on who it is that you are remembering and thinking about and what your custom has been. It's traditional in Judaism to have a Yizkor service 4 times a year, 3 times on the Shalosh Regalim, on the 3 big holidays of Sukkot, Pesach, and Shavuot. And of course, the 4th or the 1st, depending on how you're going chronologically in the years, on Yom Kippur. So Judaism gives us the instruction to remember at specified times those people who have come before us and inspired us so much. And I think it's such a beautiful teaching that we learn that at the time of festivals, of festivity, and of holidays, we might remember people on our own, but also we are instructed to remember in a more formal way those who allowed us to be here, to celebrate, to be part of community, the people without whom we would not have chosen maybe this community or this religion or this value system, the people who continue to inspire us. So as we head into Shavuot, into the holiday of the giving of the Torah, the giving of the 10 Commandments, and our acceptance of Judaism as our own, it is very important and very meaningful to remember those who came before us. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. Rabbi Phelps will share the beautiful words of Esa Einai with us.
shamayim v'aretz ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim v'aretz yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai dai 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 yai 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 dai 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 yai dai 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 dai. I turn my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber. See, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your guardian. Adonai is your protection at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from all harm. God will guard your life. Adonai will guard your going and coming, now and forever.
I share with you this beautiful poem. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey, a going, a growing from stage to stage. From childhood to maturity and youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength or strength to weakness and often back again. From health to sickness and back we pray to health again, from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion and grief to understanding, from fear to faith. From defeat to defeat to defeat until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage made stage by stage, from birth to death to life everlasting. All of you have come, have stayed at this service to remember someone, or maybe many people who have influenced your lives and been deeply inspirational in some way. Want to give you a moment to think about each of those people, some in very public ways and some in very private ways, some in enormous ways, as a mentor or a parent or an adult who helped to guide your path. And other people just come into our lives and in very small but very meaningful ways touch us and change us and inspire us. So many interactions that are so meaningful may even be unknown to the loved ones of the person who is remembered and who continues to inspire. I'll say just in our community, one of the people that we remember, many of the people that we remember, inspired so many in our community. Terry, as I see you in a small box, I want to share with you and with everyone who's here that just this morning I was on a Beit Din at our beautiful mikveh with two other rabbis scattered around the country. And as we were talking about San Francisco and about building community, we spoke also about Rabbi Larry Raphael and the contribution that he made to the San Francisco community. And each of the rabbis on the Beit Din shared a beautiful story about some way that they knew Larry, learned from Larry, were inspired by him. So as we remember very personally tonight, individuals who have impacted all of us, I share also that we influence each other in community and we continue to inspire one another in ways that often others don't even know about, but those who have touched us continue to live on in the values and in the teachings that they've shared with us. I want to invite each of you to put something in the chat if you would like to do that and share a memory, or we're a small group. If you would like to share the name of a loved one and a value, a lesson, a word that continues to remind you of that person as you walk in the world, please feel free to unmute yourself and to do that.
Well, I'll go ahead if that's okay. Of course, my mom was a very famous member of our congregation for many, many, many years. And we'll never, all of us will never forget her bat mitzvah at the age of 100. And she gave an outstanding speech. She was very lucid at that point. And she passed away at 111. And she is a blessing for all of us. And we will always remember her very fondly. And my mother-in-law lived with us for the last 15 years of her life in San Francisco and in Emeryville until she lost her health at 92. And she was my best friend. She was quite a gal, and I still miss her to this very day. She was my sports buddy. She would watch every sports event, including bowling, that existed on planet Earth. And so we really bonded with that. So I miss her as well. And it's so kind of fitting that it's also close to Mother's Day.
Beautiful. Thank you. Other memories or values, a word anybody wants to share? Some of you are putting names or thoughts in the chat, which is wonderful. And whatever is in your heart is welcome here as we will hear the beautiful words of El Malei Rachamim, the prayer that accompanied our loved ones into eternal life. We ask in Judaism that God protect each of the people that we love so much under God's own sheltering wings, and to guard the soul which no longer needs its body.
El Malei Rachamim shochen bamromim hamtzei menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina im kedoshim utahorim kezohar harakia Mazirim Lenishmot Yakirenu Shahalchu Leolamam Baal Harachamim Yastirehem Beseter Knafav Leolamim V'yitzror b'yitzror hachayim at nishmatam Adonai hu nachalatam V'yanuchu b'shalom al mishkavam V'nomar Amen.
And thank you for sharing these names of those whom we remember tonight. If anybody has just a value, one word that they hold on to from a loved one, please share. We hold deep in our hearts all those who came before us, who inspired us and inspire our community. There are stars up above, so far away, we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we love, their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. Those are the ways we remember. Zichronam livracha, may the memory of all the righteous who came before us be a blessing. You join in these words of Oseh Shalom.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Hamakom yinachem etchem b'toch sha'ar avlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God comfort all the mourners of Zion in Jerusalem and around the world. Now go forth in peace to life, and may the memories that inspire you continue to inspire you to do good in the world. Shabbat Shalom to everybody. May your memories bring great meaning as you continue to think about your loved ones during this Shabbat and this holiday time and throughout the year.